Okay, you're looking at today's video is going to be on setting up the Ride A8 snowboard binding. Just received it a couple days ago. I'm excited. Can't wait to get it out there on the slope and try it out. But I'm going to go through the setup with you guys and explain a little bit about how it went for me and how it'll go better for you. So I'm kind of looking at the binding overall as I saw it when it came out of the box and opened up all the straps and everything. And one thing I didn't look at very carefully was the fact that the Ride binding, actually, if we look down here inside on the outside piece there, you can actually see the writing for the size adjustment for your heel cup. I wasn't aware that that was there, and it's always going to be on the right-hand side of the bindings. Pay attention to that when you're doing your sizing for your boots. Going to save you a little bit of a headache. This image here is a little bit repetitive. Again, I'm showing the sizing chart on the right side of the binding. You can downsize or upsize it by loosening the two screws at the rear of the binding. One is on your ankle strap, the other is just forward of that. By loosening that, you can downsize or upsize whatever you need to do. The good part about the Ride binding is the footbed itself does not extend out over the edge of the board, even if you have a wide board. So it's an excellent fit. Just be aware of this and make the adjustments where you need. This section here is inside your high back on your heel adjustment piece. And just notice that the mark on the top is where it is currently coming from the factory. You can take this, loosen it up as we get into the system here, and adjust your high backs to be more to the right, more to the left, or slightly off the natural foot line if you want to kind of square up your stance, particularly on the heel side. So just pay attention to that too. I actually didn't see that initially when I opened the box, so it's another nice feature that they have on this binding. Another important issue here, because we've got a black on black here, to the heel of this binding is the black arrow and stuff, just where my 0 is there. Kind of difficult to see. So recommend that when you are doing this and you're going to put your screws in through these screw pattern here on the binding, that you get a flashlight. Shine the flashlight across your deck so you can truly see your screw holes and your inserts. It'll help you to line it up a lot easier. We're going into the actual setup of the binding on the deck itself now. This is the A8, which means aluminum. There is also a C8, which is a composite setup. And what you'll find as you go down in the numbers to a 4, a 6, a 4, etc., there will not be as many different fixtures and adjustment pieces on the binding, so it'll be a lot simpler in the setup. It'll also be more flexible and easier to work with and not so demanding. So you can also take this piece right here, and I find it to be extremely stiff. You'll see that I'll have difficulty opening it myself. Now, I had done that previously with the forward binding and got it where I adjusted it, and then adjusted this to the length I needed. But work on them at home so you can get them loose, so they're not quite that as demanding, and you can make the changes. You can also flip this binding over and use it for the soft side by turning the white on. I've now got my front boot into the binding, and you can see that you can take that strap, and it is extremely tight. If I wanted to get the soft part of the binding, which is the white section, I would just turn the binding over and put it on the other side, and I would have an easier flex at the top of the boot. This is a nice feature on the high-end bindings. So just remember, there's a lot you can do with these bindings. Play with them and find out what works best for you. That your boot, when it's fit into your binding down in this area here, is flush against the bottom of the footbed. Flush. All right, come over to this side here. And we'll always do this part first. Slap this on, make sure it's across nice and evenly. The one thing I'm wondering about is, will this strap work as a bra strap as most of the toe straps, or will it eventually slide up on me? So we're going to find out during the season if this will hold or not. All right, now, so I had pre-done this boot. I have not put this binding in. So one of the difficult areas of putting the binding on the board is that this is black on black, and it's a very elaborate hole system. So what I've done here is, you can see I've pre-put the screws in. If you wonder why I did that, it's because to get the threads in here, these boards are always a little bit tough. The manufacturer put the inserts in. Sometimes there's burrs in the inserts. It doesn't allow you to get a good seat through the binding plate, and therefore you fight to get your screws in. You do not want to fight with the screws. You do not want to even force them in, because you'll strip your inserts. All right, so I'm going to take these out real quick, and I'm going to leave them out. One. Notice that I've even took them out in kind of an opposite direction there. All right. Why I did that was to get a grip ahead of time with these screws. This particular screw that comes from Ride and Setup, if you look really close here, I cannot slide this washer down and off. Now, a lot of setups on your boards, that washer will fall off. They've made it so it doesn't fall off in case you're working outside. You won't lose that piece, but it makes it hard for me to use the screw itself to snug down the binding in one spot so I can get all the rest of it done. So I'm going to slide this binding over. If you watch it from the top, I now have all of these holes that are showing through the binding itself right there on the reference center. Stop. So as you're looking down at the binding, the footbed itself and everything, you can see in there, but it's hard to see the screw holes. Now you might be able to see them a little bit better. I've set it past the reference point, so I'll do it again. Reference point is where that X is. So I need to get my bindings in that X area. So what I do is put it on the first two holes, and I can see that. Then I'm going to slide it over to the next set of holes, which lines me up with an X right over the binding insertion point. So that's one of the best ways to do it, but you may need to have good lighting so you can see those inserts through there. Now I'm going to put these screws in the order that I took them out. I go to the front. I hope that I got a good alignment there. I'm not getting a bite. That this plastic sometimes is not down flush because of its swelling. Okay, I got a bite. So from there, I'm going to go back to the back corner, which is, okay. You're going to want these two screws in first. If you put this one in first, this one second, because you need to be pressing down evenly, because the screws just barely make the distance. Cut. And I'll start talking. Come in so you can see. When tightening, you tighten it like this. This one, this one, this one in an X pattern. Now after you've got them all tightened, you can go around in a clockwise direction. One little extra twist. 3, 4, check it again. All right, so continuing on. Other parts that have to be adjusted, which I mentioned before, would be the length of your binding bed. To do that, you loosen this screw here, loosen this screw, and you can pull your cage back. I've already sized mine out to size 12, as you can see right here on that line. So I'm ready to go. So I'm now going to tighten those up by coming over here on the side. Tighten this one up first. Get this piece to drop in there like I just did. Tighten that up. I'll come back to my ankle strap here. I'll tighten this one up. I've already showed you guys the inside of that strap area. Tighten this one up. Yep, the toe piece is going to slide in the toe bed. It's going to slide in this direction here. It's going to catch the clip right here. And then we're going to back the screw back in here. Okay. So we'll strap in the same way. I've already pre-adjusted my straps because I knew what the measurements were. That would be the one. And make sure you always put your ankle strap on first. Pull your boot back when you're getting ready to ride. Slap that in, pull it down, and you're ready to go. It's a job. You guys will also notice that my boots are set up instead of an angle like duck, like this. They're set up a little bit to the forward angle because this is a free ride board for all mountain use. And I'm not going to be riding the switch, which would be that direction a lot. Pretty much going that way, both toe and heel. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like button, comment, whatever you want. For shop, ride bindings and stuff, find most of them in Spokane at the Shred Shop.